Coming up, we've got information on upcoming on-campus events to celebrate Black History Month.
And stories on what's been going around Trinity since the beginning of the semester.
All this and more right now on Newswave. Good afternoon and welcome back to Newswave. Today is Friday, February 9th, and I'm Kara Reese.
And I'm Cynthia Morales.
February is National Black History Month, and Trinity University has plenty of opportunities for students to celebrate and acknowledge Black history right here on campus. The national theme for Black History Month in 2024 is African Americans and the Arts, so many of the events in this year's lineup seek to complement this theme by promoting discourse on challenging topics. The first of Trinity's events will begin next week on Wednesday, February 14th, as students are encouraged to celebrate Frederick Douglass's birthday with the TU Humanities Collective. Hosted in room 103 of the library from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., students are invited to transcribe a collection of Douglass's public works and personal writing and celebrate and engage with his defense of rights and citizenship for Black Americans. Later in the month, on Tuesday, February 20th, Trinity will be hosting a conversation between journalist Carrie Clack and poet Naomi Shihab Nye. The conversation will take place in the Ruth Taylor Recital Hall at 6 p.m., and will be complete with a Q&A session along with a book signing opportunity for Clack's newest release, More Finish Lines to Cross, Notes on Race, Redemption, and Hope. Finally, on Friday the 23rd from 2:30 to 5:30 p.m., Trinity's Black Student Union is hosting the 3rd Annual Black Essence Festival. The celebration serves to showcase the unique aspects of African American culture through food and games, and is open to everybody. The Vice President of the Black Student Union, Senior April Himes, reflected on the importance of Black History Month in a recent university news release. Himes emphasized how, quote, Black History Month serves as a catalyst for acknowledging the significant contributions of our people throughout history, but our mission extends beyond February.
At the end of January, the Student Government Association provided over 450 free tickets to the Spurs Trailblazer game for Trinity students. Trinity University's choir had the privilege of singing the national anthem, and the Spurs capped off excitement by taking a 16-point victory over the Trailblazers. For those who missed the event, our TigerTV crew joined SGA and the rest of students in attendance to give you the inside look on the event. Check it out.
Hi, I'm Kate, and this is
Yanel.
And we're on our way to the Spurs game. We're in line right now in the bus lane, and we're riding on a nice coach bus. Yanel, have you ever been to a Spurs game before?
I have actually.
Okay, and what can you tell me?
I think the Spurs game are really exciting. There's a lot of fun stuff going on. I feel like it's always action-packed.
Okay, and he said his favorite part is tip-off because he thinks that's when the most is going on. So we're excited.
Danny.
I'm Clay.
And how do you know each other?
We're actually roommates.
Interesting, because I see you're wearing different color jerseys there. What's the story behind that?
So I'm from San Antonio.
Okay.
So I want his team to lose.
And you're not winning.
Hey,
Okay.
we'll see what happens.
We'll
Go Spurs,
see.
go.
How are you doing?
And have you been to a Spurs game before?
This is my second Spurs game.
And who is your favorite player?
Probably Kelvin Johnson.
Okay, enjoy the game. This is Took. And Took, why is this a special day for you?
It's my first NBA game ever, and I'm really interested to be here. And I must say that the atmosphere, everything is so much fun, and it's much better from watching NBA game from TV. And I really, I don't know what to say.
He appreciates it.
It's a really great time.
And what is your favorite NBA team?
My favorite NBA team is absolutely the San Antonio Spurs.
Oh wow, okay.
The first time I watched NBA is probably like around 2013 as the peak time of San Antonio Spurs.
You've always been a Spurs fan.
I've always been a Spurs fan. They have the culture, they have the play style, and I love Coach P.
Did that influence why you came to Trinity? Because of the Spurs, or it just happened to be like that?
I must say I love San Antonio, and Spurs just a part of that.
Okay,
Like I love
okay.
the weather, I love the city, and I must say like chose Trinity University is one of the best decision I ever made.
I've always been this big Spurs fan, being from South Texas, but ever since I came to Trinity and have been in San Antonio and I've come to the games, it's just developed like into a big passion of mine. I've been to like over 10 Spurs games. I love being with my friends here, my Trinity friends. It's just an amazing experience, the atmosphere and everything, and I love the San Antonio Spurs.
Awesome. And what is your favorite food to get at a Spurs game?
Oh, so today I had some Whataburger, and man, that was really, really good. Shout out to Whataburger.
Last week, professional tennis star Venus Williams visited Trinity University for Trinity's Distinguished Lecture Series. This talk was held in Laurie Auditorium and was open to San Antonio community. Bruce Bravo, Senior Director of Conferences Special Programs, explained that, quote, the committee decided that Williams best aligned with Trinity's values and would encourage engagement from both students and the San Antonio community. Williams participated in an open exchange with President Vanessa Beasley, where they discussed her life and career on and off the court. Williams even addressed her experiences as a trailblazer for women of color in athletics by stating, quote, I was there to win tournaments and kick some butt, but there was other butt that needed to be kicked. The audience was able to engage with Williams with a Q&A at the end of the event, where she gave tennis advice to a 9-year-old boy who had never lost a tennis match, stating that, quote, when you lose, hopefully, what you'll learn is that you can't wait to get back and make it right. Hopefully, you'll learn how much you love what you do and how much more you want to do it.
On January 28th, the Trinity community lost former Vice President of Students Colleen Grissom at the age of 90. Grissom first came to Trinity in 1958, where she came on as head resident and counselor of the McFarland Dormitory Complex. She then became the Associate Dean of Student Life in 1972, where she strongly advocated for women on campus at a time when it was uncommon to do so. According to Trinity University, along with other initiatives, Grissom discontinued acceptable attire regulations for women, started the integration of men and women in the same dorms, and canceled a practice where the university, quote, sent letters to parents rating their daughters on such qualities such as popularity, frequency of dating, study habits, and housekeeping. Grissom eventually rose to the rank of Vice President of Student Affairs in 1979, becoming the first woman to hold a position of that stature at the university. In 2001, Grissom stepped away from her student affairs position and continued to teach English at Trinity. During this time, Trinity University Press published 2 of her books, A Novel Approach to Life and The World According to Colleen. Grissom retired from teaching in 2019, though she kept close ties to Trinity. In one of her books, Grissom stated, quote, I still find teaching Trinity students challenging, demanding, exhausting, sometimes frustrating, but almost always fun. And I feel like what I do does matter. With each passing year, perhaps the reason I don't become nostalgic is that I am still doing what brings me the most joy. Colleen Grissom was larger than life and made an impact just as big. She will be missed.
Still coming up, we've got information on where you can see the solar eclipse in San Antonio later this spring.
And your weekly campus weather update.
All this and more right after a short message from the late Dr. Grizzle.
How far you go in life depends on your being tender with the young, compassionate with the aged, sympathetic with the striving, and tolerant of the weak and the strong. Because someday in life you will have been all of these. All of us want to do well, but if we do not do good too, then doing well will never be enough.
Welcome back to Newswave. In more campus news, at the end of January, Trinity University announced a 98% positive outcome rate for the most recent graduating class of 2023. According to Trinity's Center for Experimental Learning and Career Success, or CELSIUS, this figure represents all Trinity graduates that were either employed, interning, or enrolled in graduate school. The center is an on-campus resource that helps students to connect with outside resources by making phone calls, sending emails, and reaching out to recruiters for a student's requested field. Workers at the Career Center help students by providing what they call a launch point, giving students the opportunity to succeed after graduation.
CELSIUS is making sure that Trinity students have success on their horizon. To discuss what else is coming over the horizon for Trinity students, we've got your weekly weather update with Newswave's chief meteorologist, Luke Morton.
Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you all had a great week and are looking forward to the weekend. This past week has been overall very pleasant with highs in the 70s and lows in the 40s and 50s. This weekend looks to be a bit more rainy, but shouldn't be a washout by any means. Some showers are possible beginning on Friday night into Saturday morning, then again from Saturday night into Sunday morning. If you're planning on heading out either of those nights, you might want to bring an umbrella just in case. During the day, the sky should be partly cloudy with highs in the 70s and lows in the upper 50s. The beginning of next week looks to be very nice as well, with mostly sunny skies and highs in the 60s and lows in the 40s. However, starting on Thursday, the clouds and rain will likely return, so get out there and enjoy the weather at the beginning of next week. In other news, this past Monday was National Weather Person's Day, a day that recognizes the hard work meteorologists put into their field. It is observed on February 5th, which is the birthday of John Jeffries, one of the United States' first weather observers who took daily measurements starting in 1744. I hope all the meteorologists out there had an amazing day, and thank you again for all the hard work you do. Anyways, that's all I have for this week. Have a great weekend, and I will see you next week.
In just 2 months from now, the San Antonio area will get to experience one of the best astronomical events in a lifetime. On April 8th, there will be a total solar eclipse crossing parts of central Texas. Unlike the solar eclipse we experienced in October, viewers within the path of totality can remove their solar eclipse glasses momentarily when the sky is completely dark. However, not all areas in San Antonio will experience total darkness, as only the northwestern portions of Bexar County falls within the path of totality. San Antonio residents should travel northwest past Loop 410 to witness it fully. Total solar eclipses are rare, occurring when the Earth, Moon, and the Sun align perfectly, casting a shadow called the umbra. Within this shadow, viewers can see the Sun's corona, an outer layer hotter than its surface. NASA recommends using binoculars or telescopes to observe intricate details like loops and arcs in the corona, potentially revealing solar magnetic fields. As Trinity is not located in the path of totality, students may consider traveling for this once-in-a-generation event, as the next total eclipse won't occur until 2044. We here at Newswave can't wait to experience this amazing event.
In more state news, the Texas Tribune reported that U.S. Representative Colin Allred out-fundraised his Democratic Senate primary candidates and incumbent Senator Ted Cruz in the last quarter of 2023. Between October and December of last year, Allred's campaign raised over $4.8 million compared to the Cruz's campaign $3.4 million. Meanwhile, the local Democrat and State Senator Roland Gutierrez of San Antonio raised just over $443,000, putting him in a distinct second for the Democratic nomination. Paige Hutchinson, Allred's campaign manager, expressed that, quote, "We are overwhelmed at the outpouring of support from across the state, and the momentum powering this campaign continues to grow every day. Texans are sick of Ted Cruz and his phony culture wars." Allred finished 2023 with over $10 million in campaign cash to Cruz's $6.2 million. Nonetheless, Cruz still remains an aggressive fundraiser, compiling over $5.5 million in the fourth quarter across his 3 political action committees. Similar to the confidence of the Allred campaign, Cruz spokesperson Nick Maddox said that, quote, "We continue to see an increase in energy and support from the Patriots across the Lone Star State and the nation. Texans are fired up to re-elect Senator Ted Cruz and ensure that Texas remains the nation's conservative stronghold." As both parties are gearing up for what is sure to be an expensive campaign, Newswave will keep you updated as we approach the 2024 U.S. Senate election here in Texas.
When Newswave returns, we'll discuss the latest updates on the candidates in the 2024 presidential election, along with extreme weather patterns in the United States and around the globe. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in 30 seconds.
Hey guys, how are you today?
Good.
I'm here to talk about how with technology you can make amazing worlds. Come with me. My team and I bring the Halo world to life.
Is that you?
That is me. I wasn't a math genius and I knew nothing about coding. But you guys do. You guys have the power to change things.
I want your job.
I want you to have my job.
Welcome back to Newswave. On Monday, February 5th, California residents received flash flood warnings for a storm that knocked out the power to hundreds of thousands of homes and businesses. Los Angeles was hit with the hardest on Monday when a local state of emergency had to be issued for the city by Mayor Karen Bass. The Weather Service explained that, quote, flash flooding is much greater threat than any weak tornado that the storm may spawn. Due to the storm's equivalency of a river in the sky pouring down, rainfall of 14 inches was forecasted, making the conditions life-threatening for some areas. Significant damage was made to homes and people have been displaced on top of mudslides and debris flows. San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria explained that he understands the wariness towards repeated warnings, and he said, quote, can assure you this decision to issue this warning is not taken lightly. He also asks that everyone stays vigilant and aware and ready to action if needed. The rain has dramatically improved over the last few days, and we hope this trend continues. Our hearts are with those most affected in California, and we'll be sure to keep you informed as we receive more updates.
Last Friday, February 2nd, Chile experienced a deadly fire, leaving many dead and more without homes. This firestorm was most intense near the city of Viña del Mar, where The Guardian explained that, quote, entire neighborhoods were scorched, with residents rummaging through husks of burnt-out houses. Rodrigo Mondaca, the governor of the Valparaiso region, expressed these fires could have been set intentionally, stating, quote, these fires began in 4 points that lit up simultaneously and which authorities are working rigorously to find out who is responsible. The firestorm has led to the displacement of 1,600 residents, with a current death toll of 112, as families continuing to report missing loved ones. Chile's President Gabriel Boric explains the record high temperatures from the El Niño weather conditions have made it even more difficult to contain the fires. As Chile navigates this stressful time, we here at Newswave will keep you updated.
Nikki Haley, the Republican presidential candidate running opposite to Donald Trump, has recently asked for Secret Service protection amidst increasing threats towards her person. Haley is usually escorted to events by personal security and local law enforcement, but it appears that this level of protection is no longer sufficient. The candidate was recently the target of a swatting attempt where a dangerous crime is wrongfully reported to lure law enforcement to a home. At the time of the attempt, Haley was not home, but unfortunately her elderly parents and their caregiver were. Haley was appalled by this attempt, stating that, quote, the last thing you want is to see multiple law enforcement officials with guns drawn pointing at my parents and thinking that something happened. After her plans to put up her security were announced, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who is an independent candidate for the presidency, stated that he's requested the same level of security 3 times and still has been denied. Haley's request truly shows how dangerous campaigning can be for everyone involved, stating that, quote, it's an awful situation. It put the law enforcement officers in danger, it put my family in danger, and you know it was not a safe situation. That goes to show that the chaos surrounding our country right now.
A heavily edited video posted to Facebook that appeared to show President Joe Biden inappropriately touching a woman's chest has been allowed to stay on the platform after Facebook determined it did not violate company policy. The video avoided restriction because only videos edited by artificial intelligence that falsely replicate someone's voice fall under Facebook's manipulated media policy. Biden's campaign denounced the policy, and Facebook's oversight board posted a call for change, writing, quote, Meta needs to provide greater clarity and needs to make revisions quickly, given the record number of elections in 2024. Social media continues to be a political battleground years after 2016, when Congress found evidence of Russia interfering in the presidential election through targeted advertisements. Social media and artificial intelligence will continue to play a significant role in the upcoming November elections.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Caleb Reed, and I'm coming to you a little bit early this afternoon with a special segment on the kind of unique relationship between the NFL and the city of Las Vegas. This Sunday, the 49ers and Chiefs will play the Super Bowl at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. Few thought that this was possible decades ago, as the NFL wanted nothing to do with the city, but now Vegas' relationship with the league is stronger than ever. Las Vegas, which is well known for having legalized gambling, found it difficult to have a good relationship with the league, which, until recently, was very anti-gambling. According to AP News, Las Vegas and the NFL had a, quote, precarious type of relationship, and all that changed in 2017 when NFL owners approved the Raiders to move from Oakland to Las Vegas. Then, a year later, the U.S. Supreme Court overturned the Professional and Amateur Sports Protection Act, which created the possibility of legalized gambling outside of Nevada. This changed the NFL's relationship with Las Vegas for good, allowing the Super Bowl to be held there for the first time. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell recently spoke on the league's move to Las Vegas and said, quote, "That vision was set out. The vision was clear. We wanted to be a part of it, and I think that when that happened, everything seemed to change." Now, the league, the city, and the rest of the world are getting excited for the biggest game of the season as the 49ers and Chiefs look to win big in Sin City.
To finish out, Newswave has your complete campus sports update and headlines on world leaders from the past week. All this and more when we come back.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate and it's worn like a badge of honor with good reason. Because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Welcome back to Newswave. As the spring semester progresses, we've got your weekly sports update with Newswave sports editor Caleb Reed.
Hello again, everyone, and great afternoon. We've got a lot of sports news to go over, so let's get right into it. First off, things at Trinity have been pretty quiet recently, with the last couple of weeks not providing much in the way of in-game action. That's all expected to change this weekend, however, with multiple events both on campus and on the road. Women's tennis will be set to serve things off later today as they take on Our Lady of the Lake University here at Trinity. The women are 1-0 on the year so far, having defeated UIW last time out across Hildebrand Avenue. The game is set to serve off weekend action starting at 4, so make sure to check out the Trinity University Athletic page to find a link to watch the matches live following the conclusion of Newswave. Tomorrow is where things really start to pick up, with track and field beginning the day up in Boston for the BU Valentine's Day Invitational. After that, men's tennis will begin competition against Tyler Junior College at 9 a.m. with a later match against host ACU up in Abilene, Texas at 4 p.m. Softball also has their first bit of action this weekend, opening the season on the road for the first 2 series of the season. The first 2 games will be on Saturday against Howard Payne University, with first pitch scheduled for 2 and 4 p.m. Their second 2-game series will come on Sunday, when they will travel up to Austin to play Concordia University on the road, with those games starting at noon and 2 p.m. Additionally, Tiger basketball wraps up their home regular season on Sunday, facing Colorado College in the last home game before the playoffs. The men moved up to a number 8 national ranking after their 87-70 road win over Schreiner University, and the women won a much closer 63-58 game that wasn't locked up into the final minutes. The win pushes them to 21-1 and 17-5 on the year respectively, and both teams are currently in a fight for the top seed of the conference, eyeing a number 1 spot in the SCAC tournament in just a couple of weeks. The biggest news out of the weekend wasn't football, but in motorsport. Despite the first race of the F1 season being over a month away, the news cycle has gone absolutely crazy over the last 7 days. After the news dropped that Andretti Motorsports was being denied a spot on the grid, multiple stories broke almost immediately, seemingly to cover up all the previous outrage. The first link in the chain was a bit of groundbreaking news, with the announcement that 7-time champion Lewis Hamilton would be leaving his team Mercedes at the end of the upcoming season. The news was a shock to many fans as Hamilton, one of the most successful drivers in the sport's history, has been with the Mercedes since 2012. The 39-year-old will be leaving one legendary organization for another, as he will wear the scarlet red of Ferrari in 2025 on what is reported to be a multi-year deal. The news came as a shock to everyone, with drivers and pundits alike expressing their shock on social media. The move now puts Spaniard Carlos Sainz Jr. out of his seat for 2025, despite his incredible performance and actually leading the teammate battle for much of last season. Just a day later, another bombshell fell on the F1 news landscape as Red Bull team boss Christian Horner was reportedly put under investigation by the team for inappropriate workplace conduct. Horner, who has been with the team since 2005, has overseen all of the team's 113 victories, 13 combined drivers and constructors championships, and 370 races. The investigation is ongoing at this time. Another bit of news that is making fans upset is the annual car livery releases. To save weight, teams have opted to run very basic paint schemes with minimal color, opting for black liveries that allow exposed carbon fiber. Though this does improve performance, it has caused many fans to be upset at the decisions of multiple teams, as the similar liveries lack much inspiration up and down the grid. That's all for me. I hope that you all have a great afternoon and a wonderful week ahead.
Over the weekend, El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele won a landslide victory in his re-election campaign for the nation's highest office. According to preliminary and partial results on Monday, Bukele cruised to victory on Sunday evening over the country's discredited traditional parties. According to AP News, Bukele's re-election was built around his success in, quote, defanging the gangs that have historically held an iron grip in El Salvador neighborhoods and local government. During his first term, Bukele's administration worked to negotiate with gang leaders in prison by granting them improved conditions in exchange for lower level of bloodshed. However, Bukele denies the existence of any correspondence. Despite the temporary peace, on March 26, 2022, El Salvador witnessed 62 gang-related deaths in a single day across the country, the highest single-day death toll in years. Bukele responded by seeking emergency powers from his government, sending thousands of troops into neighborhoods going door to door arresting people. Many of these arrests were conducted without warrants, and these arrested were deprived their right to an attorney. Nearly 2 years later, 76,000 people have been arrested by authorities, guilty and innocent alike. According to New York Times, in response to American assertions that Bukele's crackdown has undermined El Salvador's democracy, the nation's vice president, Felix Uola, replied, quote, what democracy? Despite the arrests and foreign criticisms, Bukele's landslide victory reflects the fragile dynamic between gang violence and democracy in El Salvador.
Queen Elizabeth II's son, King Charles III, has been forced out of the public eye for the foreseeable future after a recent cancer diagnosis. The King's illness is the latest blow to the British royal family, which has seen its ranks depleted following the death of Elizabeth and her husband, Prince Philip, along with the scandal surrounding Prince Andrew, the self-exile of Prince Harry and his wife Meghan, and the health woes of Prince William's wife Catherine. Peter Hunt, a royal correspondent for the BBC, said, quote, there aren't that many of them. There are only 2 of them who are under 50. One solution posed to solve the royal family's dwindling public appearance may lie in technology and social media. Social media can amplify the in-person exposure of family members. The royal family's Instagram account claims over 13 million followers, and its account on X has well over 5 million. The greatest burden of the King's illness is likely to fall on the 41-year-old heir William, who has worked to carve out a role on issues from climate change to homelessness. Until now, King Charles has been a highly visible royal, making hundreds of public appearances. As he temporarily steps away from the public eye, the question remains, who will fill in the gap?
That's all we have for this week. Thank you for tuning in, and we hope you'll have a wonderful weekend.
Next Friday, you can find Newswave and TigerTV at Trinity's annual Chocolate Fest. Be sure to stop by and try some delicious chocolate treats and engage with some of the Trinity student-run organizations.
Newswave will be back live in 2 weeks from today on Friday, February 23rd, and on our regular showtime. Until then, I'm Kayla Reese.
And I'm Cynthia Morales. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.